With Hispanic Heritage Month underway, I thought it might be a good time to share some different project ideas you can do with your classes to celebrate the month. And I know sometimes when we're planning, it just kind of seems to sneak up on us with September and August, like back to school time just being so crazy. All of a sudden you turn around and you're halfway through Hispanic Heritage Month and you're going, what are we going to do? So, here are some simple project ideas you can do with your classes to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month that aren't the same things that you did last year, but aren't super stressful and overwhelming, so you can still celebrate the month. And hey, if you don't have time for this in the next few weeks, that's okay. You can do them at other points in the year, and that's just fine. You can celebrate Hispanic Heritage whenever you want, all year long. Really quickly, if you're new here, hey, my name is Ashley, aka Senorita Spanish, where I provide easy-to-use resources to save you time and energy while you're lesson planning. If you haven't seen one of my videos before, I just want to make sure that you know that links to everything that I mentioned in this video are going to be down in the description box you can find below this video, okay? All right, and of course, if you need anything while you're watching, just drop me a comment. I'm happy to help. Okay, let's get right into it. So first off, let's talk about biography projects. So I want to give you a few different ways you can celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month through a biography research project. So first up are these research poster projects, and you can do them for different groups of people. So like if you wanted to do just famous Hispanics, I've got one that's got a list of 40 different people and a blank template for your students to add different people if they'd like. Or if you're like, okay, we've already done the biography project thing, I need something a little bit different. Your upper levels might really like this one that's a roundup of artists. Or I have another project that is just authors. Maybe you have a class that does a lot of reading and focuses on literature. That would be a great option for them. And either way, whichever group of people you choose to focus on, the templates are clear, easy to follow, and very simple for your students to just complete the research, do the project, so they don't have to go, okay, what is this supposed to look like? I don't understand. What information was I supposed to include? As they're filling out the template, it's so clear and concise for them to do. They won't have any trouble at all completing a project successfully. If you want to do a biography research project that's a little bit different than anything you've ever done before, you will love this wax museum research project. What is a wax museum? Well, students are going to research their person, whoever they choose or whoever you assign to them, and then they're going to either dress up or bring in elements that represent the person. Say that their report was on Frida, they might wear some fun flowers, they might have a paintbrush in their hand, they might, right? It can be just a simple element, or they can go all out. Totally up to you and the requirements that you give them, but students research, students dress up, and then during the wax museum event, you can have parents come in, you can have other classes come in, but the way that it works is your students are going to hold a pose of some kind, like maybe they're holding their paintbrush in their hands, and when a visitor to the museum walks by, they're going to push the button on the display next to them, and your student is going to come to life and give a little speech about that person's life based on what they learned in their biography research. It's a very interactive kind of museum. Super fun, super great way to bring in other classes in the school and make this a whole school-wide event. Instead of focusing on famous people, we can also teach them about Spanish-speaking countries. If you saw my video on teaching geography in Spanish class, you know it is one of my top teacher pet peeves when you're talking about a country with your students and they're like, that's a country? I thought that was in Mexico. And you're like, what? So, teaching them about the Spanish-speaking countries is a great way to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month and also, you know, avoid those moments in class, or at least hopefully reduce them. So one option for a research project for Spanish-speaking countries are these research poster project templates. And just like what I was talking about with the biography projects, they are so clear and simple. It's really great for your students because they know exactly what information they need to find, they know exactly what they need to fill out, and the projects all turn out very differently because your students are creative and they're going to show those different elements of their creativity as they complete the projects. I've also shared before on my channel about how much I love virtual field trips. Why not have your students create their own virtual field trip for Hispanic Heritage Month? Let me show you how. So there are actually two different projects that I have with virtual field trips for Hispanic Heritage Month, or just whenever you want your students to do a project on the Spanish-speaking countries. Option one has students create a virtual field trip that visits all of the Spanish-speaking countries and includes a little bit of information about each of them. That's a really good option if you're just trying to get them to understand where are these countries, they exist, basics about each of them. The second option I have for a Spanish-speaking country project is choose one country and create your virtual field trip in that country. And when students do that option, it's kind of fun to do like a gallery walk, trade, and do each other's projects at the end. So once students have created a virtual field trip that explores the Spanish-speaking country, either of their choice or that you've assigned to them, then students can kind of swap their projects around and explore. You can use their virtual field trips throughout class if you would like. There are a lot of different options for ways you can share their work once it's all done. But either way, students are going to create an interactive virtual field trip where they explore the information that they have researched and share it through that interactive map where they add text, they can add pictures, they can add videos if they'd like, all sorts of different ways to share about the country that they have researched. I hope these ideas have been helpful for you. If you want to see more ideas for how to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with your classes, with your Spanish club, or with your school, make sure you check out my playlist on Hispanic Heritage Month in your Spanish classes so you can see all of the different ideas that I have for you. There's a whole bunch in that playlist that can really support you as you're planning on how to celebrate through the month and throughout the rest of the year. And if you have any questions on any of these, make sure you just drop me a comment down below. I'm happy to help you out. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.